Welcome to Freedom by Design. This is where solopreneurs learn to build their business through the power of their story. I'm your host, Tina Somseth, and I believe that every solopreneur has a story that's shaped who they are. The choices you made, the paths that you took and didn't take, the lessons that you learned along the way. Those moments, they're just not memories. They're the foundation of the business that you're meant to build. And here we get it. You've got responsibilities, deadlines, maybe even a full-time job or a family to care for. That's why every episode is packed with practical, easy to apply strategies to help you build your business with clarity and momentum, even when life gets busy. So whether you're just starting, pivoting, or figuring out what's next, it's time to take what's shaped you and turn it into something that serves others. So let's start building your digital product empire, one story at a time. Welcome back to Freedom by Design. I'm Tina, your host, and today I have a special guest that's going to share some of her stories of entrepreneurship, some highs, some lows, and where she's at now with her venture and how she has found alignment with the new things that she's working on. So, real truth, Janessa and I have just recently started following each other on Facebook. And honestly, I can't remember how we even became connected. It's probably from one of those entrepreneurial groups that we're both in, and I'm in like, I don't know,
All of them.
500 of them. Um, but what caught my attention were her posts. They're short, they're punchy, and they're sometimes hilarious, but always real. For me, she's one of those people that she shows up online, she makes you stop scrolling because what she actually says feels human and feels relatable. And there was one post, I can't remember which one it was. I was like, okay, this girl and I can totally be friends. And after just talking to her for like the first 5 minutes before we started this, she's also Canadian. I love that. I love my Canadians. And yeah, that just brings me joy. But anyways, yeah, I'm like, this girl and I can like be friends. Why are we not friends yet? And then I sent her my podcast prep and everything that she put on there that speaks to who she is and why she does what she does. I'm just like, okay, I found my new business bestie. Why are we not besties yet? So I think we might be besties now. But everything that she shared about rebuilding, about finding alignment and building from your story, it all felt so connected to the season that I'm in right now. So without further ado, I want to welcome Janessa to the show. Janessa, how are you?
Oh, I am so good, Tina. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for reaching out and, finally getting a chance to sit and chit chat and talk. And it's so wonderful to meet you.
Yeah, same, same. Why don't you start out by sharing with our listeners what you do?
So, I'm a social media marketing strategist. I help a lot of entrepreneurs, freelancers, a lot of businesses that you know and love with their social media. I help them create the strategies behind the scenes, all the systems behind the scenes,
Mm,
and basically start showing up. I dove really deep into psychology
mm,
the last few years. I started off actually with my sister in 2021. We started off as social media managers for cannabis and CBD brands.
okay. Fun.
Uh, it was for, it was for probably about a year until the restrictions on a lot of the social media platforms were
Mm,
coming about. And it was really hard to be able to get our brands across in, really good ways that we were hoping.
mm,
And we noticed that a lot of like the rules and regulations weren't like unified. It was some people were getting away with this, other people weren't getting away with anything. So my sister ended up deciding that she wanted to go off and do her own venture. So we parted ways.
okay.
And since then, I really dove into what I wanted, what brought me joy, I suppose, more than what was already happening in my life. I was kind of building my business around something someone else had told me to do.
I can relate. Or
Yeah,
or you think you should be doing, right? Because everybody else seems to be doing that as well.
everyone's doing it. So, you jump on the bandwagon and it it was fulfilling, but it wasn't the fulfillment that I was really looking for.
Yeah.
So I hunkered down and got myself a mentor who I had admired for, many years, um, and really kind of rebuilt and regrew what I wanted and what I wanted it to look like. And my business might not look like everyone else's, but it works for me. And that is probably the biggest thing that I've ever looked for in my life. And, it's been just kind of heaven sent to take a step back, say,
Mhm.
you know what, your agency model, for instance, doesn't work with me. Maybe I don't want a whole bunch of hires and I don't want 15 million clients. I want three good clients
Mhm.
and a life that is happy and sufficient. So I think going through this whole entrepreneurship journey, I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I've learned. And I hope someone else can, take that wisdom and build the business that you want, not what someone else has told you to build just because it worked for them and that's great, it did. But that doesn't mean that it's
Yeah.
going to work for you in the same way.
Exactly. And again, like I said, I can totally relate to that because you kind of put this um value on the number of people you hire, right? The number of teams members you have, um, and all the clients that are knocking down your door. But I'm kind of with you where from that perspective, I'm like, I'd rather have three clients paying me 10,000 a month than 30 clients trying to claw every single bit
Mm,
from me and they're paying me, 500 a month, right? And so having the quality client really makes a huge difference. But I think, the thing is like you don't know what you don't know, right?
mm.
Getting into entrepreneurship, building your own business, building your own brand, you just kind of throw that net wide.
Yeah.
And then after however long, you kind of realize, okay, I've got to reset. How long did it take you to kind of get to that point of like, I need to reset?
Oh, so I've had a lot of resets in my life.
Yeah,
But
you shared that. Why don't you let's dive into that story of your reset, and then maybe that will converge with, the resetting of the business as well.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess I'll start at 18. I got kind of a break to work in an insurance firm, and I honestly stayed there for 10 years. And I did a lot of their marketing, a lot of their postal mailings and things like that. So I was kind of already interested in how words can make someone feel and persuade
Mhm.
them to do things. So I liked that. But I ended up becoming a single mom at age 23. Um, and it was such a hard path that I knew that I needed more changes. I needed more steps forward. And I wanted a life that was, say, better than what I had for
Mhm.
my daughter. And that was a real big push. So I ended up going back to college. I worked as a paralegal for about 2 years, and then COVID hit.
Mm,
And then, like so many other people, I lost my job at the end of COVID.
yeah.
I was also suffering from a little bit of like a mental meltdown, I suppose. Um, I spent a lot of time crying and in bed and really struggling. And it led me to kind of not even like jump into entrepreneurship because I literally had nothing else to lose. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Backs
didn't
against the
have a
wall,
job.
right?
I,
Yeah.
I had nothing to lose. I really didn't. And when I started with my sister, I was getting over a lot of things, including addiction. And uh, it became a real focus of mine to push myself into marketing and psychology and how our brains work, because I know that we're complex and I didn't understand it, but it made me feel better to try and understand it. So that's honestly what I dug into for, I would say, about 3 years. I've been really digging into that side of it. But starting over and rebuilding is scary only because our body is only trying to save us from what we think is the unknown or fear. But a lot of the things that what we do want and a lot of the things that we can accomplish are when we push through the fear.
Right.
And that's honestly kind of just been how I've been living my life the last little bit on. I don't really care what people think because I think enough about myself. Um, it's just, yeah, I don't know, lived experiences throughout everything has literally shaped how we are. I don't know, rambling.
No, no, you're good. I love it. You have a son or a daughter?
I have a 12-year-old daughter.
She's 12 years old.
Yeah.
How did she, being a single mom, how did she help you through all of that you were going through? I was a single mom myself. Had my son when I was 22. I was married at the time though. Had him when I was 22, became a single mom at 28. Um, and he was and is still my strength, right? How did your relationship with your daughter help you kind of evolve? Were there some dark moments or just, you just saw her as this strength that you just kind of held on to?
She is definitely my strength. She's everything. I too had her at 22.
Mhm.
And honestly, no matter how bad my day had felt when I was with her, it was focused on her. It
Yeah.
wasn't trying to worry about the next thing. It was her, and that saved a lot, like I suppose, living in the now
Mhm.
and not the past of what's happened or the future of what's going to happen. It was, if we were coloring, if we were watching a movie, if we were having a bath time, like whatever it was, I was focused on her. And yeah, that saved a lot of spirals, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was good though. Like we had our own little spot when we were rebuilding and like it was just a perfect little I call it my hermit hole because it was a condo like in the basement.
Uh-huh.
Um, and yeah, our hermit hole basically we would get in and it was just like safe
Yeah. Just for you and her, huh?
just for us.
Um, Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. That going through that at such a young age. And then COVID was emotionally traumatizing for everybody. And then I think what emerged from that though is folks learning to lean on their own sense of surviving, expertise, and then just taking a chance on whatever. Because at the end of the day, it's like, what do I have to lose, right? I've already lost the job. Can't lose any of that anymore. And
Right.
so you emerged from COVID more stronger than before, and that's a great story to have, right? Because when during that time, my business took a huge hit as well. I had a travel inspired online brand. Well, no
Oh,
one was traveling.
no one's traveling in COVID.
So, the pivot happened, and the pivot was a bit of like trying to hold on to something to just kind of make it work, right? Um, did you ever have a moment in your entrepreneurship journey where you just hastily made a decision and you're just like, oh my God, spent or wasted so many hours, so much money. Did you ever go through that during any of your pivoting and realignment?
All the time.
Okay, I don't feel so bad.
All the time. Yeah, I mean, I've done the things. I've spent money on the courses. I've hired mentors. I've made those rash decisions that felt, I suppose, good at the time, but really weren't, the best thing. But for sure, I start things all the time and then don't finish them or pick them up later. Or I'm a full believer that when the inspiration hits, you can do what you can until it's gone. And eventually, one day, you're going to come back to a document, even in your Google Drive, and you're going to be like, I wrote that. I did okay. And you just use it from there. So I try to take my thoughts with a grain of salt and, write them down. But yeah,
Yeah,
I've made rash decisions. I've jumped into things. I've definitely clawed my way out of a few.
yeah.
For sure.
Moments.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so you shared like a really powerful story about being a single mom at a very young age, going through addiction. Um, I want to zoom in on the rebuilding part because it's one thing to think about rebuilding, but it's another to do it. What was that mindset shift for you? And you mentioned that you worked with a mentor. Can you dive into all of that? Take us through that moment of rebuilding. What did that look like?
Oh, a lot of tears. Um, but so I found my mentor, Rachel Peterson. I found her back in
Love
2021.
her.
She's
She's not my
amazing.
mentor. I do follow her. She's real. Yeah.
She's
She's so
real
real.
and awesome. And if you haven't checked her out, absolutely check her out. She is a lifesaver and honestly warmth that I really needed. So I leapt into being mentored by her, and honestly one of the best decisions that I've ever made. But she's not even she's, but rebuilding is something you want to do. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to rebuild," and not take the actual
Right.
steps to do that. So I did read books and I did go to therapy, and I've done the things to do my best to better myself for different chapters and new seasons coming. Um, Rebuilding for me was slow. It wasn't fast, and I didn't know what I want, and sometimes I still don't know what I want. Um, but rebuilding, I guess, has kind of led me to know that like I don't have to be fully built. I can keep going and I can find the things that light me up and I can change my mind, which is kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, I think I think part of rebuilding is just being okay with being a little bit messy while you're
Yeah.
doing it.
Just continually building, right? Like I think even before you just mentioned this, I've always thought of rebuilding like, okay, I got from point A to point B. Yay, that's it. But
Mm,
actually, after hearing you talk, rebuilding it's a continual thing. You just are constantly building up, right? It's like this house that's never going to be completed until you die, and then it's done. But until then, it's like, okay, I don't like this room anymore, right? You loved it 5 years ago, but now it's a little dated. And so you're constantly rebuilding. It's not an end.
yeah, you get to choose. You get to do that. And if that means, that you're tired with a part that you're talking about doing, not doing, you have the ability to do it or to change it.
Right.
And yeah, I don't see it as an A to B. And I don't think that I'm done growing or learning or changing or doing any of the things, but I'm happy at this moment. And honestly, that's what's rebuilding is for me. It's the ability to consistently be who I want and be the happiest or best version or, a good mom. And I want all of those things. And that takes work. It takes action. It takes,
Yeah.
a little bit of compassion on myself.
Yeah, definitely give yourself some grace, right? For just some things that might not pan out, decisions that might have not been the best, and realizing that sometimes you've got to take one step backwards to get
Yeah.
further. And so giving yourself grace for not taking that linear line
Mm.
to
It's
success
not,
because no
yeah,
one, no one gets there
it's
like
so
that.
like up and down. You having a straight line is what we all want. We want to start from the bottom. We want to get to the top. We want to be built. We want it all done. And
It ain't
it
like
doesn't
that.
work like that.
No, no,
I
no.
wish. I
Yeah.
wish for sure.
Because
But
when we see other people out there, they're like, you're like, oh my God, how did they get here? Right. And it's 20 years of building and
yeah,
rebuilding. And yeah. And so, but showing up and being consistent is 20 years later for them. Right.
yeah. I
So
mean, momentum
you
and
mentioned, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say momentum and consistency. That's literally the people that say like, "Oh, how'd they do it?" and they're overnight successes. Well, they have been working at it for years. They've been consistent. They've had that snowball effect where they've showed up consistently to be the icon that you're seeing.
Right.
So again, we all want from start A all the way to Z right now.
Yeah. And that ain't gonna happen.
Mm,
Not for most of us anyways.
not for most of us.
You mentioned in your bio that you help entrepreneurs build businesses that tell the truth about who they are. What do you
Mm.
mean by that?
When I'm working with a client, I like to see their passions, their dreams, their everything. I want to know all of that for my client. But then I also go into their audience,
Mm.
what their audience is feeling, what their pain points are, what their desires are, and really building a business alongside my client that gets them to their goals and, their core values of their business, and then tailor their message to their audience in a way that's going to connect full-heartedly rather than like a surface level. In a way that feels honest and natural is honestly kind of where I've shone my light.
Yeah, yeah. And is this only on social media or is this just kind of across all of their platforms?
So across all of their social platforms,
Mhm.
a lot of clients have asked for funnels or landing pages. So then it would go on to their landing pages and things like that, or their emails even.
Mhm.
Um, but so many of us find it's hard to sell. And that's what all of my clients say. Oh, it's hard to sell. I can't get any sales. And I reiterate to them that sales and how to get sales is just serving. If you're serving your knowledge, you're serving your support, you are providing the information that's in your head in a way that they can understand, you're going to get more movement than a pitch every day.
Yeah,
So when you've structured your content and you've structured what your clients and what their audience needs, then selling and becomes more of serving. And
yeah,
then serving is the longevity, it's the snowball effect, it's the compound, it's the trust building. Um, so it's much easier for my clients to kind of flip their mindset into, okay, well, I'm not selling. Yes, okay, they would like sales, and that's great. Everyone does, but you're going to, what's the saying? You're going to catch more bees with honey than vinegar. So if you push on their pains and their feelings of what they're going through, and then you offer your solution, they're going to be much easier to want that solution. The desire is going to be there.
right, right. I personally, that's a struggle of mine as well. And I was just talking to, I'm in an accountability group, and we were talking sometime last week, and I was just like, you know what? I've just been creating so many content, and it's educational content, it's behind the scenes content, but it's never salesy content. And where I don't want to come across salesy, but it's never throwing my offers out there, or very rare do I do that. And I told the group, I'm like, I need to make more content that shares my offers, but I'm not a salesy person. And one lady said exactly what you just said is, Tina, don't look at like you're selling them something. Look at it like you're serving them.
Yeah, they
And
need your help.
right. And I have to think about it that way. They need my help. I have the expertise. I
Mhm,
have the framework. I
mhm,
have the experience, but I just need to get out of my own head
mhm,
to be able to do that. How do you do that with your client? If you were working with me and you're telling me, Tina, you're not being salesy, you're serving them. Sure, I get it.
mhm,
Then how would you, if I was your client, work with me to get me past this mental hurdle that I have and get them to get out there?
mhm. Probably, probably in a few ways. But first, I would sit down and I would ask to collect everything you've ever written. Everything. I want to see emails you've sent where you explained your framework or where you've explained your point. Um, I want to go into your Google Drive. I want to pull your
Oh, girl,
frameworks.
you'll never get out. It's messy.
Oh, let me in. I have a love relationship with my Google Drive. And when I see someone else's, I'm like, oh, just let me in like real quick. And then I just like, have to do that. But anyway, yeah, I'd start by gathering everything you've ever written. And I would ask if what you've written still rings true right now. And if that's a yes, then that's great.
Mhm.
And then what I would do is repurpose what you've already put out in new ways, in new wordings, and with a new emotion attached to it. So, have you ever heard of the emotion wheel?
No,
Okay.
share.
So the emotion wheel is literally just a whole bunch of emotions on a wheel, and they tell you kind of where they've stemmed from.
Hmm.
So in the circle, in like the middle part of the circle, you're going to have like the main feelings of like happy, sad, whatever. And then as you go out throughout the circle, it's going to have different emotions like anxiety or frustration or excitement or whatever it is. But when you write your copy more towards an emotion, that person is more likely to feel that exact emotion. So, whatever it is that we're trying to hit the message deep down, I would find the emotions that go with it and then try which one works best. If you were my client, I would post, can we swear? Are we allowed?
Yes.
Okay. I would post a shit ton of content. And then I would track it. I would watch it. I would see your datas. I would look at the outliers, and then I would just create more content of the content that worked. Um, but to do that, you have to have thick skin and not overthink it, because some posts are going to be really great and you think they're going to do really great and then they don't.
Yeah.
And then other ones that you don't think are going to do really great take off. So it's narrowing down what it is your audience wants to hear as much as the information you want to share. So I suppose I wouldn't need all of my clients out of their shell if they felt they couldn't. I could basically take what they've already written, repurpose it, see what works, and then grow with more content from there. And if it's a client who, say we needed more video content, I would probably just start with like asking for B-roll content and
Yeah.
then just put words over top of it rather than like a direct speaking video, like a head talking video. A lot of my clients find that it's more difficult to do that. But I do have clients that are like, oh yeah, just tell me what to say and like I'll say it. So
Give me the script.
even like a topic. Some
Hmm.
of my clients I can give a topic to and they can, rant about it for 10 minutes or whatnot, and I can create months worth of content from their one rant. So that's probably how I would work with my client who was in their shell a little bit more introverted. That's definitely how I would like grow their brand outwards.
Hmm. Hmm. Great. Yeah. Definitely repurposing. It would be interesting to give you access to my Google Drive and
Mhm.
then see how you're able to like change the angle of the intent, right? Um, just to see how other people think, because I've been doing this for a while as well, and you know, the way we hit on emotions is maybe different, right? And I would love to see how other people do it, how you do it, how other marketers do it. But with that said, there's a lot of social media marketing managers out there. How
Mhm.
do you differentiate yourself from everybody else that is trying to sell the same service?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. I think you could hire anyone you want based on price. And if that's how you're justifying hiring someone, then you're going to get what you pay for. Um, I'm different because I care. I care about my clients. I
Mhm.
care about their business. I care about their success. I want their success. I I want what's best for them, but I do it in a way that feels good for me.
Yeah.
So I really own into the essentials of what someone needs to move forward and the type of verbiage that is needed or the pathways or the structures or your business ecosystem. I don't just look at your content or special days for social media coming up so you like don't miss it. Um, a lot of other social media managers um, are just that, social media managers.
Mhm.
I'm a marketing strategist with social media.
Got it.
So I look at a lot more than just what you would post. There's a reason behind the post. There's some form of strategy behind every single thing that I do, whether or not it's noticeable or whether or not you know it. I know that it's there.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I'm different because my approach is different. I'm different because I do things different.
Yeah. Yeah. I follow Gary Vaynerchuk, and he's a little loud sometimes, but he's at least real. And we were talking, he is um, I think just became a partner with Stan Store. And so there's like a Stan Store challenge with Gary Vee on a weekly basis for 8 weeks, and you kind of pay into that challenge. I myself paid into the challenge, but I'm also using Stan Store for my Instagram.
Mhm.
And someone had asked him, "How do I stand apart? How do I do this? How can I be different?" He's like, "Be you.
Mhm.
You are your niche, right? You are what makes you different. Your approach, just like you just said, your approach, your maybe emotional connection with your clients, right? Your clients become your friends because you care and they're just not a transaction and things like that. And so I think that's so strong. It's such a strong statement to make is that you are your niche because we've been taught to think about, okay, let's niche down, right? What do you
Yeah.
want to sell and how do you want to sell it differently? And then we forget that we each are all individually different, right?
Yeah.
With different
Jesus.
approaches, different deliverance, different styles of doing things, different ways of talking. And so I love that, and a part of what drew me to you was that. It's just, who is this girl on Facebook and why is she always on my feed?
Why is she always there?
Why is she always here? Not in an annoying way, because there have been those that I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna pause them for a little bit. But I love your content because it's like I said before, it's short, it's
Mhm.
snappy, it's not long drawn, it's not unauthentic, right? And maybe that's your inner Rachel Peterson coming out as well. Which now I can kind of see how your style is a little similar to hers. And that's probably why I was drawn to it, is because I'm like, okay, I like this. She's real. She's not someone out there that's saying, for the last 3 months, I made $1 million doing this. Let me show you my framework. And I hate that. And I want to get your thoughts on that because you probably get the same stuff on your feed, right?
Mhm.
These gurus, these people, like, what are your thoughts on that? How does that affect you?
Well, I do my best just to ignore it. So I try not to let it affect me. But I don't like the money marketing. I don't like you said, I made $1 million in 90 days, and that's great. That's great. But aside from you posting it and inflating yourself, does it actually make other people feel good? And like, because I know that when I wasn't making, an income at all, and someone's like, "Oh, I made $100,000 this week," and it's like, okay, how? And then you don't really get an answer, and
No,
you're just
because you have
like,
to get into, right, their ecosystem.
yeah.
Now you're in their email list. And yeah,
So like, I get like why they've done it, and I get the strategy behind it. It's not a strategy that I want to do, only again because it didn't make me feel good when I was reading it. So I want my person coming to me to feel good. I want them to be like, oh, she's gonna help me and she's not gonna make me feel bad about, not reaching a goal or not hitting the same amount of income that they did.
yeah,
Um, I think there's so many other ways that you can get your point across rather than just pointing out how much you've made.
yeah.
Like I don't know. It used to be a taboo topic. Like you couldn't talk about how much you made, and it would like you didn't ask anyone how much someone made. Like it was just something that no one, I guess, cared about. So why do we need to care about it now?
Right.
I don't think we
It's,
need.
yeah. I mean, we get the strategy behind that, right? It's
To.
okay, I'm gonna get some person in my email list so that I can start to sell them stuff, which
Yeah.
is fine. But then I am like, I've been tempted to create content, just fake shit content that's like, I just made $1 million in the last
Yeah, it
6 months.
did.
And I'm just to see the kind of response that I would get in comparison to me showing up authentically and sharing best practices, tips, and just being who I am
Yeah.
versus I made $1 million, right? Just tempted to just do that, just do like an A/B test to see what kind of response I get.
Do you have trial reels?
I
Like
do. I
you
do.
do? I just
Yeah,
got
I
access.
used it once, but it didn't really, again, just once. But it didn't really give me the impact that I thought it would. It actually was worse in terms of like my viewership than just, yeah. What
So
about you?
I'm gonna say like an analogy or a story that was
Okay.
told to me when it comes to like when we've posted one thing and it didn't work the way we intended it to. I'm going to bring it back to like our farmers, okay? When they're planting their crops and it's starting to come up and they've planted a whole row and they're like, "Oh, It's not even going to work. I'm not even going to do the rest of the field. And then you realize the field's not getting done. Nothing's planted. You can't eat. Everything's gone to shit. It's because we gave up. So if we want something to work, regardless if it's a trial reel, if it's a real whatever, if it's short, snappy truth bombs on Facebook or threads or wherever it is, you need to have enough of it out there
Yeah.
to make an impact.
Yeah.
So as much as we want things, again, A to B, it takes a lot more than just going A to B.
Right. Right. No, that makes a lot of sense, especially with, you know, even if you have 5,000 followers, 20 people might have seen the post or the video.
Yeah.
And the other 4,900 and whatever
Yeah.
didn't. And he's just like,
Right.
oh my God, okay, so do I need to create more of this? And the answer is yes, but it's so cumbersome. But you also mentioned that you teach your clients how to simplify
Mm.
their entire ecosystem. What does that mean?
Well, your ecosystem is everything on your business. When someone comes into your business, what is it that they have?
Mhm.
What do they see? What do they have access to?
Okay, like
So I'll
your
sit down with
website, your
exactly.
emails. Okay.
Sure. So I wonder if I have sometimes I have like drawings of things where I've taught previously. But basically you'd have a freebie. A freebie is not the only way, but it's a great way to get people onto your email list.
Right?
So when they come onto your email list, it's best to send them an email right away. So we call that the delivery email.
Mhm.
But then you're going to have an email sequence that follows your like from your freebie. It's going to point, say, to your podcast. It's going to point to a YouTube video that did really well or has a lot of like nice detail in it. Or you want to send them to another paid product or something, you want to keep them inside of your ecosystem.
Okay.
So your ecosystem is truly just built with a flow. Um, and again, it's so much. I'm a visual person. Are you a visual person?
Sometimes. Yeah,
Sometimes.
I think I learn quicker and retain better when I do have something that's visual that's been presented.
I'm a big visual person. I like color coding. I like everything. But basically, this would be an ecosystem of a business where you have your platforms. It goes like they all, I don't know if you can
Okay.
see,
Yep. Delivery. Yep.
have
Email
your
two.
lead magnet, all of your emails. It goes to something else. You can have an order bump to increase the checkout.
Mm-hmm.
And then or it can book your service call. So that's one of my clients' ecosystems. So when someone comes in, you know exactly where they're going and what's going to come in next. And then that way you can kind of flow your audience to where it is you need it rather than them just coming in and like sitting in the dark. I'm like, oh, great, I have this. So like you want
Right.
to touch them, you want to send them emails, you want to teach them.
Great. Yeah. And simplifying it by creating a flow, right? Where you continue to nurture that relationship, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's sending them an email to say, hey, this is what happened this weekend. How are you? Or whether, it's to send them an email to, like you said, learn more about your YouTube channel or you listen to your podcast because an episode might be an interest to them. So do you build that flow for your clients or do you strategically help them, you design it and then they find someone who builds it for them? What's your part in it?
No, I build them.
Okay.
So, or I'll clean them up,
Okay.
if that's the case. So a lot of them do come to me with it kind of already there, but the pieces don't necessarily click together. So like, they would have an offer up here that isn't, coming after anything. And we call them ATM funnels. So ATM is at the moment, this
Okay.
funnel is converting really, really well. And the general outline of it would be a freebie, a paid offer, and then the nurturing after. But all of it is automated. So
Yes.
something that you don't have to do. You don't have to send that email out in the morning. It's all connected once they come into your ecosystem. So once that's built, the biggest thing is just putting out enough content on social platforms for them to come into your ecosystem where it takes care of the rest.
Are most of the content that's put out organic, or do you help them with paid social as well?
I don't do paid ads, so everything I do is completely organic.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, you think about this whole era of n- new marketing era as you've got to pay to play. Um,
Mm,
do you believe that
no.
you have to pay to play? No?
No, no. And honestly, the pay to play has been around for quite a little bit.
Mhm.
And a lot of things are going over to pay to play. Like for instance, even Meta will charge you $12 for you to talk to customer service. And
If
like,
you're verified, right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So like it's do I need to? No. But yeah, I don't think that you need to pay ads. I think there's two ways essentially to grow. If you have the time and the luxury, then I would go with organic. The longevity is better. Um, the snowball, the compound effect that you have, I find is easier to roll once it has the momentum.
Yeah.
Ads is if you have an offer that's already converting organically and you pay for an ad to accelerate that growth or accelerate your leads coming in, then I think that's a great option if you can afford it, but you
Yeah.
don't need to. They're
Yeah.
just two different ways of growth.
I love it. Yeah. Um, this entire year I've not paid a cent for an ad.
Yeah.
But I've been doing this for a long time too, right? Just pushing content and having a customer base that's in my email list that, I work with. So, um, someone had made a comment on one of the groups that I'm in, and they asked, "Is the website necessary? Should I just stay on social? And should that be where I talk to my customers and try to make money?" What are your thoughts on that? I have mine, but I'm curious what you think. There were a lot of people that responded to him with, "Dude, you don't need a website, And I like, okay, what are your thoughts?
I actually think you don't need a website.
Okay.
I think websites are great,
Mhm.
but it's like a menu, right? Like someone is looking through it, and if they don't really know what they're looking for or whatnot, like you just kind of lose them. So I see them as a brochure, a menu. They're good to have, absolutely, but you don't need a website. Um, I think from my experience, if you have your social media and you're posting to it, that is your free publicity. That is like putting up a billboard or, something of the sorts. It's getting it out there. And if you have a link in bio, like Milkshake or Beacons or Stand Store or something of like that, where you can showcase your freebies or your offers and they go to landing pages, I don't see the need for a website because they're in your ecosystem just based from social media. If you have your landing pages on your website, then by all means send them there. But yeah, I'm a full believer. You don't need a website. In fact, my website's not very good, and it definitely doesn't bring me in anything compared to my socials. So I'm a firm believer. Socials, landing pages, and link in bio to connect them all.
Yeah, yeah. How do you store their emails? Let's just say if you wanted to connect with them outside of social.
Well, the second that they would leave my social, so say if I had posted on Instagram and I had a keyword that they have to put in underneath like in their comments
Like
or in the
comments,
comments.
a word, yeah.
So then the landing page is the link that I've sent them to go to. So that
Mhm.
landing page is already connected to my CRM. So I'm using Go High Level or High Level.
Okay,
Um, and the second that they fill out the form, their email is stored into my CRM.
got
It
it.
works well again with Active Campaign. There's a few other programs that work really well,
Mhm.
but you don't need to collect their email like on social media or like you can do it through ManyChat as well. But the link I send them is just to my landing page because it's attached to my CRM.
Got it. What landing page, um, I don't know, company, do you use?
Still Go High Level. So Go
Oh,
High Level is storing all of my landing pages, my fabulous website, um, and yeah, all of my emails. So everything is all into like one.
Got it. Got it. And then you're not paying a hosting fee like for a Shopify or a
No, I
Wix
use
or
Beacons.
yeah.
Beacons is free every month, and it has my freebies there. And then once they get into my ecosystem, then we talk about other things that I have. So, yeah, again, firm believer. You don't need a website. It is nice. People do like to scroll on websites. I'm not saying you know that don't have a website. If
But you
you
don't need a website.
don't need, no, it's a nice to have, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. You may have swayed me to the other side. I'm kind of old school with you need a website. You need to build that credibility. You need to share your story. Um, and the thing is, as I listen to you, you can do that in many different ways, and it doesn't have to be your website. But yeah, so I like that take on it. It's definitely a different take, and I would have to. I have a little bit of a different business, and so I think I definitely need a website because I sell services, digital products, creative services, and things like that. And I just feel like having a website puts everything in like my house, and the house is in order. Um, who's to say that I can't do that with landing pages as well? So definitely something that I would be exploring and definitely something that I would offer up to other folks that ask me that question. But
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, again, like just even like the psychology and marketing behind a landing page, if you have other links,
Hmm.
like go back to my homepage or check out my bio and stuff, and that's all on your landing page, they're losing focus of what you actually want them to do on the landing page.
That's
You
true.
want them to opt in.
Yeah.
You want their email. So
Yes.
the easiest way to do that is with something that removes all clutter,
Hmm.
all distractions, and distractions by clicking buttons or, big flashy things. You want to get rid of them because again, the landing page serves one purpose. And if your one purpose is to get their email,
Hmm.
then it's going to be a
Remove
lot easier.
everything else. Yeah. Remove all the
Exactly.
links where they can click out, right?
Right. I mean, aside from your terms of service and your privacy policy, because you do want those on the bottom.
Yeah.
But I mean, you your website, I find it's a lot easier to click around and it's a lot harder to get the results that you want from a website. To
Hmm.
have it included, absolutely.
Yeah.
But when it comes to socials to a landing page, that would be the thing that I would recommend is get rid of everything. Don't send them to your website. Don't have other links on it. Just a clean, get their email and they'll if let them get nosy about you. If they're nosy about you enough to go and search on your website from something that you said on social media, well, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
So again, it's a nice to have, but I don't see it as a necessity.
That's a necessity. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So ready for some rapid fire
Let's
questions?
do it.
All
Let's do
right.
it.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee,
Dog or cat?
cat,
Early bird or night owl?
both. Because this chapter, I'm trying to go to bed on time and wake up on time.
Good for you.
I'm trying.
Netflix, yes or no?
Yes.
What are you watching now?
Okay, nobody wants this season two with Adam Brody and Kristen Bell. Oh, it's so good.
Okay, I haven't seen season two yet. I saw
It's
season one. I wasn't sure. At first, I wasn't sure if he was the right character for her, but um, yeah, I'm looking forward to starting season two. It actually surprised me how good it was.
Yeah, us too. So my husband watches it with me. Um, and it came out yesterday. I'm pretty sure it came out
Yeah, I
yesterday.
think so.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so we finished this other show and we're like, okay, it is time. So we watched an episode last night before bed and first
Yeah.
episode is just as good as the last season.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely on my list. So I'm glad you're watching that too.
Yeah, do it.
It's a
Do it
great
and then
show.
we can talk about it.
Okay. Russell Brunson or Alex Hormozy?
Russell.
Hmm. Do you believe that burnt out is a choice?
No.
Oh, why not?
Because I don't think you can choose to be burnt out. I think perhaps the decisions that you make can lead to burnout, but burnout isn't just a mindset you can switch on and off. It's something that's happened because something in your life isn't stable or um, isn't good enough to continue, isn't providing you what you need. So yeah, no.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. No, I never thought about it that way. different things are leading up to that certain, right? You're making decisions that
Mhm.
lead up to that moment that creates burnout, but you
Right.
don't
Like,
actively or explicitly think about, okay, I'm gonna hustle, I'm gonna burn myself out, right?
yeah, a lot of us just like want to reach our goals a little bit faster. So we work 15 hours a day, 24/7. And that's not sustainable.
Yeah,
That will lead to burnout. It's not my choice to burn out, but my actions definitely led to it.
yeah, yeah. And last one, do you still get nervous before you post?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I try not to like physically post. Like I'll schedule them
Mhm.
where they go out
Mm,
or I'll repurpose them. If it's something that's repurposed, I'm a little bit like more okay with it because I'm like, oh, I did it once. I can do it again. Um, but yeah, I think the nerves come with they come with it. You want them to work, you want them to get your point, you want all of those things.
right.
Um, but it comes down to like again, working through that fear and pushing through that discomfort to get to the other side. And if that means you have to post 10 shit reels or videos, posts or whatever it is, it's out there, right? And someone somewhere might like it.
Yeah, yeah. It's good to know you're human.
Yay!
So you've rebuilt, you've realigned, you've created a business that's rooted in who you are,
Mm,
and you also help others do the same. But I want to end this by asking, what's your why? What's the thing that drives you to just keep showing up every day?
my why would honestly be my daughter and my family.
Yeah,
I show up because I need to show up. I'm mom and I have things and goals that I want to do because I want her to live a better life than what I had. So my why is definitely for her. Um, and my husband. It'd be nice. My husband's military. It'd be nice to have him home and doing something in the business, and he'd be my hire other than you know just kind
someone
of wanting
else.
to work. But
Yeah,
my family and freedom. I I'm not someone who enjoys going out every day to work, and being at home definitely gets me to do that. So my why is definitely comfort.
comfort. I love that. And because the podcast is freedom by design, what is your definition of freedom?
My definition of freedom is time freedom.
Mm,
It's the time to work when I want. It's the time to rest when I need. It's the time to spend with family and not feel guilt.
yeah,
There's a lot of times, even when I was working being a paralegal, where I felt guilty for taking time and doing a puzzle or, doing the little things that, we maybe take for granted. But yeah, time freedom is freedom for me, not necessarily like any other freedom. I think time freedom is where it's at.
great, great. And I promise, last question. Um, what's the message that you would like to leave for our listeners today? What's the message that you want to kind of shout out there to the world about whatever?
Mm. That you can do it, that you can do anything that you want. And your past struggles or past things that people have told you, they don't need to ring true. If you believe that you are worthy, then you are worthy. And you are doing so much better than you think.
Yeah, thank you
So
so
much.
much. So much better. And we're living in it, so we don't see that, right? We don't see outside of us. And so it requires other people to kind of help show
Mhm.
us that we are worth it and we are better than what we think we are. And you being here today on the show has made my Friday morning, and I'm excited to go into the weekend with like a full heart. Like it's nice to chat with someone in the industry who is real, who's authentic, and we're pretty aligned in how we feel about where we are in our business today, where we want to be, and what freedom means to us. Um, you've shared your personal story, and it's just a beautiful example of what happens, when we run from our story instead of build on it. And I see that you're building on your story. Um, where can people learn more about you, connect with you? How can they find you?
Yeah, lately I've been hanging out on Threads quite a bit. So head over to Threads, give me a follow at Mrs. Janessa Steward. And yeah, hopefully something on there is gonna tweak just as much as it did to you. And yeah, send me a DM if it does.
Yeah, for sure. It will. Um, so, what was I going to say? Oh, all of Janessa's information, her links to her Facebook, Insta, all of the stuff is going to be in the show notes. So go and click on them, follow her, get inspired. And I can't wait to see how she continues her journey. And I'll be continuing to follow you as well, Janessa, see how things are going. But I hope this isn't our last conversation. I would love to stay connected with you. And if I'm ever up in the Ontario area, or if you're ever down here in the Pacific Northwest, just hit me up. I would love to. I love, again, not only talking to you right now, but just meeting folks that I've met in the industry in person, because it just brings it to a different level.
Absolutely. We'll definitely stay in touch. This was so much fun. And the same, going into the weekend again with that full heart and like so
Yeah.
much joy. It's so nice. I appreciate you letting me come on and sharing a quick little chit chat.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And we'll catch you later, okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Freedom by Design. If this episode gave you a spark of clarity or motivation, I'd love for you to hit follow and download so that you don't miss future episodes. And if you know of another solopreneur who's building their dream, share this with them. We grow faster when we grow together. You can also follow me on Instagram at Listening Studios for more behind the scenes, tips, and inspiration to help you build a business that truly fits your life. Remember, you might be building solo, but you're never building alone. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next episode.